everybody! Adopting puppies is a adorable trend in the NHL, and I thought it was important to go over. If your team was to adopt a dog, which breed would it be?
How much is that dog in the window? The one with the waggly tail. How much is that dog in the window? I do hope that dog is for sale.
We are in the dog days of summer. We are the podcast is going to the dogs, and the NHL wants to bring in the Puppy Cup. Welcome to Agree or Disagree, the podcast hockey edition. This is Kevin Olenek. Happy Saturday to you. It has been a while, but you can follow me on Twitter at KVOLE. Subscribe on wherever you get your favorite podcast, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, etc. Add me as a friend, Kevin Olenek, like Agree or Disagree, the podcast on Facebook. And we'll have some other announcements at the end of this podcast about what is going on. But we have a full slate going on here. From all of us are back. Heidi is with us. Hello, Heidi.
Hello.
Heidi, if you were a dog, if a dog was best to represent you as Heidi the human, which dog would that be?
I don't think I've had enough caffeine today to ponder that question. Can I get back to you on that, Kevin?
Yeah, of course. Of course. For those that are not aware, it is 10:40 in Calgary, and it's on a Saturday, and 9:40 here in BC as we are recording. So if we sound a little groggly, that's probably why. Tyler is with us. It's been a while, Tyler.
Yeah, I feel like I don't even know you guys anymore.
Yeah,
what is this? What podcast am I on?
Yeah, we had to do a handshake before. Tyler, how would you answer that question? What dog best represents Tyler?
Oh, let's go with a black lab.
Okay.
Let's just go with a black lab.
Right.
Yeah. When you get me in a goofy mood, I think that's probably appropriate.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Sean, how's it going?
I'm good, thanks. I have my coffee in hand, so my grogginess should be kept to the minimum.
Fair, that's fair. So if a dog was best representing you, which dog would that be?
I guess it always depends on my mood, but I think I've always gravitated towards the Bulldogs.
Yeah, I was thinking that for Sean too.
Yes, they are a great dog. They are a very great dog. Yes, for me would be a golden retriever. I feel like that is the best representation, because I just sometimes sit there and I'm very loyal, and that's what a golden retriever is. That's the one that came to mind for me.
Doesn't want to upset the boat or pick a table.
No, I don't want to pick a table. No, I have refused to pick any tables of all of the table things that have went on this summer. I have refused to join any one of them. I am mingling to all of them.
Oh, I have an answer now.
Oh, I knew you would.
Okay, I gave a thought. So I feel like I relate to my parents have a Blue Merle Sheltie. And his name is Yukon, and he's very, he kind of just does his own thing. He likes to just kind of like hang out with people, and then when he's done hanging out with people, kind of over it, then he just does his own thing, and he's friendly and very chill, and I can relate, I guess.
There we go. Yukon the dog. All the dogs. You know that it's been a pretty slow off season when we have to start talking about dogs. So this has not exactly been the most thrilling of NHL off seasons, but we will get into some interesting stuff. So last Friday, not the yesterday, but the Friday before, news started here in Vancouver from the Whitecaps, actually, when they announced that Bob Leonarduzzi would no longer be in the position of president of the Vancouver Whitecaps. He was going to move into a different role, and they were going to hire someone in a new role to do that job. And 2 hours after that press conference was made and the Whitecaps were making news, Elliot Friedman tweeted out that the Canucks and Jim Benning were close to a contract extension, and the entire Vancouver community just took a left turn and went, what? And it was announced on Monday that they have reached to an agreement that it is a 3-year extension. I guess, first of all, are you happy that this extension has happened, and was it necessary in your mind to have this done before the season started?
I'm pretty indifferent on it. I don't think it really changes much in the way of how ownership and are going to be looking at how long-term Jim Benning is. But if you look deeper into it, and the talk was that they're looking at extending some of the coaching staff and some of the management staff, and they don't want to extend them past how long Benning is signed for, then this makes more sense than you would initially have thought, because Ian Clark is only has 1 year left on his deal, and if there's one thing that the Canucks need to make sure that they stay on top of and keep as a competitive advantage is their goaltending. And Ian Clark has turned Jacob Markstrom into a borderline bona fide number one goalie, and they've got Demko and DiPietro and a couple others that need to benefit from his coaching, including their 6th round pick Arthur Silas, who they just signed yesterday as well. So I think that's a big part of it, as well as getting some more of the behind the scenes management players team signed up long term. That I think we'll get announcements here within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I felt it was important to get this resolved before the season starts. I mean, I could just hear the calls for his head throughout the season during losing streaks if there was not an extension in place. Whether people like it or not is, up to individual opinions. I'm on the side of I think the direction looks promising enough to date that he warranted an extension. Francesco Aquilini, if you follow him on Twitter, I mean, he's been pretty consistently behind Jim Benning and Travis Green with their plan here the last little while. So it's good. And at 3 years, yeah, that does seem like a long time for a general manager that's only had one playoff appearance. But I don't think the Aquilini group is that afraid to swallow some salary there if they decide to move on before the end of the extension.
Heidi, do you have thoughts?
I just kind of have a question, because I think I kind of missed when this came through. I wasn't on social media or anything, but I know that some Canucks fans can be a little, vocal about stuff. What was the immediate reaction on social media and stuff? Were some people really upset? Were everybody happy, or what was it? Was it like that way?
Well, it furthered the vibe that is splitting in Canuck fandom, especially on Twitter and social media, where you have the people who are making a point to show everything good that Benning has done and support him, and then you've got the other group that are trying to just basically just point out everything bad that he's done, and they find that they're finding ways to negate and dismiss what the good moves that Benning has done. So It was a bit of a civil war in Canuckland at that point.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me then at all. I don't know. I think it sounds like it was a good move to kind of give him a little bit more time. Like, I don't think Vancouver's been doing, like, making that bad of choices. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with Benning is that he hasn't had that one move that you can look at and say that was a full out win of a signing or trade that can help mask and hide the losses that every GM has. I'll go throw it to Brad Treliving and the Flames. Like, he's the trading for Hanifin and Lindholm has been huge for his resume as the Flames GM, because they came in, and especially Lindholm came in and really became an integral part of the Flames and someone that they relied on heavily. And then it helped mask and hide the fact that the price he gave up to get, like, say, a Travis Hominick or some other trades that he's made that haven't necessarily been very good, or the signings like a James Neal, right? So that's the biggest. I think that's the biggest blemish, in my opinion, on the Benning regime, is that he's never found that one professional scouting move. So take away the draft, because he's done well getting Pettersson and Hughes and Besser, but in terms of trades and signings, he hasn't had one that he can really puts a stamp on his tenure as Canucks GM.
Yeah, and I think a reason for that is he's always dealing from a position of weakness, and some of that is self-inflicted through, if you want to use the term asset management, you could say, well, there's been certain players that have not been handled very well in terms of asset management, and then you're dealing from a position of weakness. Some of it is what he inherited from the previous regime. The Blue Jays come under fire for this in baseball as well. They're constantly dealing from a position of weakness, and everyone's furious at the low returns. I mean, that's something that has to really change for Jim Benning if he's going to, survive to the end of this extension and get some more time from ownership. But beyond that, I mean, there's no perfect general manager out there. I mean, you show me a general manager that hasn't made bad deals or many bad deals. That's always the thing that frustrates me with the discussion of fire Benning, get another guy in there. I mean, who's realistically available? Not dream world available, wish list stuff, but who is actually realistically an option available now that's better? And that's often lacking in these kinds of discussions.
I mean, you look at a guy like Marc Bergevin in Montreal, who made what seemed like at the time a PR disaster of a trade for when he traded he traded PK Subban for Shea Weber, and he also made a terrible deal for Jonathan Duran, giving up a Sergachev, and it was thought to be over and done, and the Habs fans were all over Bergevin for that, and he found a way to turn this team around, and they competed for a playoffs. He actually got a pretty good return for Max Pacioretty, it turned out. He found a way to kind of turn that team around a little bit, and they competed for the playoffs. I don't think Bergevin has a signature move out there that you can go and sit there and say that he's won necessarily. He's had more losses. I think that there is a legitimate argument, and someone made this argument on Twitter, and I don't remember who it was, that Brad Treliving is overrated. I think that actually there is a valid argument for that. If you actually look at the moves that he's made, and we'll be talking about the Flames. By the way, we are going to talk about the Flames a lot here too, but I think that there's a legitimate argument that Brad Treliving is overrated as well. The Edmonton Oilers fans can talk about the disaster that Peter Chiarelli was and all the decisions that they made. I think overall, when you look at Jim Benning, he doesn't have that big win, but I don't know if he has that big loss. I mean, the riskiest move that he made was definitely giving up a first-round pick for JT Miller. That there's a risk inherited to that.
Well, you're not even talking about Louis Eriksson here yet.
No, I mean, well, okay, but even if you bring that up, you can argue that the Oilers did that, the Flames did that, the Islanders did that, the Sabres did that too. So, in comparison, like, it wasn't the Canucks that made that terrible move. So it wasn't anything that he did, that's a loss that a lot of people have had a loss on. But I don't think he's had that, my gosh, that disastrous moment that has set the Canuck organization back for years. I think it just strikes me, even when you listen to him, that he's a very even-keeled guy that he's not out there he's not the riverboat gambler where he's going to make that splash and try to win every trade, but he's probably not going to be in there he's not going to make a move that's going to be riskily disastrous for the team too.
No, I mean, you brought up the JT Miller deal there and the conditional first-round pick. I mean, that's only going to be a disaster of a trade if they don't make the playoffs within 2 years.
Right.
And if they don't make the playoffs within 2 years, I don't expect that he's going to continue on as the general manager. So, I mean, it's something to not worry about at this point.
So
in terms of Benning, I would say he hasn't had a quote-unquote disaster of a deal, but he's had sort of more the death by 1,000 cuts, where he gave up a little bit too much in multiple deals, and then next thing you know, he doesn't have the assets to go out and make a trade or the excess assets to be able to make a trade that makes that JT Miller trade a little more palatable for a lot of the fans of the Canucks. Because I would say that JT Miller trade is fine for value and fine for but I think there's an argument to made that it was made 1 year too early.
Probably.
If they had been able to wait a year and let these players develop a little bit more, and then your core is already closer and a little more, the fan base is a little more comfortable in terms of feeling the positivity and the direction of the team, and then you make that trade, I think it's a lot more palatable for a lot of the fan base. I think that's the biggest argument, I think, for that JT Miller trade. And I would say the worst trade that Benning's made would be the Goodbranson trade, the original one to acquire him, where they gave up a second-round pick and a former first-round pick and Jared McCann to get him. So I think it's tough to really look past that in terms of asset management and what Jared McCann could have really been to this team. Mm-hmm. Over the past couple of years, and adding to that forward depth that they spent a lot of time, a lot of money and assets on this summer to rectify. So I think he always seems to be chasing the goal instead of setting the goal and getting there. Yeah. So hopefully that changes. That has changed this summer, because I do like the moves he's made this summer. I think JT Miller's a fantastic addition. I think Michael Furlan's a really good addition. I like the addition of Jordy Ben and Tyler Myers on the blue line, because I think the Canucks now have the depth to be able to play with the upper echelon teams a little bit better. And I think if Besser, Pettersson continue to develop and Bo Horvat continues to play at the level he is, I think that the Canucks have a fantastic chance to surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, and not to give excuses here, but 4 straight years not in the playoffs and 4 straight years of moving down in the draft order as a result of the lottery. I believe all 4 years they've moved down at least a spot or two. So there is that as well. It's trying to turn this around without getting that luck on your side in the draft lottery as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting that when the Benning era ends, how that's looked at, because in terms of drafting, it's pretty fair to say that it's strong. And trading, I would agree, it's certainly not. And free agent signing is not necessarily on up there. But the question I think that I'm led to wonder is, do the Canucks have to make the playoffs for Benning to continue, and Travis Green to continue on in 21-22?
If they completely blow up and are another lottery team and all that, I think that there's some legit questions to be made, and whether or not they should be both should be around coming into next season. But if they're fighting for the playoffs and miss by a couple points, I don't think that we see the ownership making any drastic moves or Benny make any drastic moves the next year. It's all about development, right? And I think it's a risky play to make, but I think with how strong the 2020 draft is, I think a lot of fans would still be, if the Canucks make a good development year and push for a playoff spot, but miss it and then get a really good player out of that 2020 draft. And if they can make the playoffs in 2021, I think that might be the best long term outcome at this point, with that JT Miller trade in mind. But I think it all comes down to how they miss the playoffs more than anything else.
Yeah, they can't afford another bottom finish year. Like that, I don't think that is going to be accepted by ownership very easily. But that timeline, as Sean just described, making it the following year after a pretty good development year this coming season, that you look at that with the JT Miller conditional first round pick going to Tampa and a 3-year extension to Benny, it all seems to fit with what ownership is hoping to see, right?
Yeah, but the only thing is, like I said, that's risky, right? Yeah, if they miss the playoffs this year, then they're looking at Ottawa Senators territory with that Duchesne trade, where you have to make the playoffs. Yeah, absolutely have to. So the pressure on the team in 2020, 2021, if that happens, will be just immense. So
yeah, immense is the word.
Yeah,
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, I do think that it would be nice just to be able to breathe if the Canucks can find a way to make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, and if they don't make it this year, that brings the playoff drought to 5 years as well, which you'll be hearing that number constantly, I'm sure.
Yeah. Heidi, did you have something to?
No, I don't got anything else to add to that. But other than that, it would be really nice actually to see the Canucks make the playoffs. So even though you're a rival team, it would be nice to see that actually work out and there be a little bit more rivalry with the Flames and stuff. So hopefully between the management and the coaching that gets done.
Yeah. It would be nice if when I live here that the Canucks are in the playoffs too. That would be nice. Yeah, as well. The Flames have made some news in this off season as well, and I dare say that I think that for the most part, it has not been the greatest of off seasons. I mean, the Cam Talbot signing is an interesting signing one way or the other. The acquisition of Milan Lucic, we talked about it. I don't know if I come away with that thinking that this is a win or anything, or it's a lose-lose situation for both teams. But
I'd call it splashy, Kevin. I'd say that it was splashy.
It was definitely a splash. Yes, it was definitely splashy. Yeah. But the worst news of all is the injury to Jusso Valamaki, who tore his ACL and is out for a long time. I'll start with Heidi. Heidi, how are you feeling about the loss to Jusso Valamaki?
I am very, very choked because just for so many reasons. He has so much promise, and then even last year, I think it was his ankle that he broke or sprained or whatever towards the beginning of the season. And that kind of kept him out almost all year. So that sucked, and I was like, okay, excited for him to kind of get back this year and do everything. And now it's happening again. And then not just that is the fact that the Flames don't have that same defensive depth that we had a couple of years ago. So with things with Michael Stone kind of not working out due to his injuries and what have you, and we're kind of left with who I figure who's going to come up and make that spot is Oliver Shillington, and I don't have that hype for Oliver Shillington that some people still have, but that hype's been around for years already, and I'm not convinced that he's going to be the best replacement, but yeah, so it's just really sad, honestly. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year.
I'm still upset that Shillington's name isn't pronounced Killington.
I call him Killer sometimes.
Yes, it is.
The first time I heard that name and I saw the graphic on the screen, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Can you explain this one to me again, please?
Yeah, what is the? Yeah, it's. I don't quite understand the. Yeah, I don't understand the pronunciation there. I'm a little confused. Yeah, I think one of the things that really, and we talked about this during the after kind of the post-mortem of the Flames playoff disaster against the Avalanche, is their defense was not able to keep up with the speedy Avalanche forwards, and the only one that seemed to have at least a fighting chance was Valamaki. And this is where I think that we talk about Benning and we talk about some of the moves that he's made and not made. And I feel like Treliving does deserve some criticism here. I don't think he's really. And we haven't also talked about, I think a big loss for the Flames and a little sneaky move of the Canucks that we did not bring up was the acquisition of Oscar Fantenberg, which I'm a believer that they can never have enough good defensemen. So, I mean, I know that Oscar Fantenberg isn't on the plans of the top 7 or 8 or whatever, but when people go down, he is a reliable player, and I think that was actually a big loss for the Flames as well. But I don't feel the Flames have addressed that defensive core to the point that I'm convinced that they can get back to the first place position that they were in the Pacific. Am I missing something here?
I don't think they are at all.
Well, I think that you've got. I think it could happen, but I think expecting Gio to be a Norris candidate next year, I think is a bit wishful, just with the age and everything. But I do expect Rasmus Andersson to take a big jump for the Flames, so I think that could help things. They've been shopping TJ Brody all summer, so I'm not sure what the plans were for how to change up and fix this defense, because I don't think it's fast enough.
I was going to make the point that Sean made. I mean, you're hoping that you're going to see Mark Giordano be Norris, trophy level again, and I mean that's really wishing there. And I see on the Twitter here that the Flames are going to offer a PTO to Andrew McDonald, who's a defenseman that could help, but 32 years old, that's just a stopgap measure. So I don't know. It's unclear. It may just be that the Flames are shopping Brody to see what possibly anything could come back. They're just kicking tires, I think, from this perspective.
Well, the Flame fans have had a hate relationship for Brody for a really long time. So I think it's probably best for TJ Brody to be moved here, but I think they're in a tough position where they can't really. I don't know if they can really do that at this point in time. I mean, yeah, I agree with you about Gio, and I think that Anderson's going to take a big step up, but at the same time, there's also growing pains with that as well. Travis Hamonic, I think, is a warrior. I love Travis Hamonic, but I think his tenure in Calgary has been at best. I think you can grade that overall as inconsistent. And Noah Hannafin is actually younger than Rasmus Anderson. People forget that. I mean, Oliver Killington, whatever we want to pronounce
Shillington.
that. Yeah, sure. But the new killer, I think, is. I agree with Heidi. I don't know if he's more than a 5 or 6. And I don't know what we get with David Rittich and Cam Talbot in terms of the combination. I think that's a big question going in. I mean, this is going to be the first year that Rittich is going to be considered the number 1 goalie. We're in a bounce back year with Cam Talbot where he's bouncing back. And I know that goaltenders have done historically better when they have left Edmonton, but we still need to see where Cam Talbot is at. I don't know. And Andrew, it's great that they have an Andrew McDonald, but I would hope that the Flames are planning to add some sort of defensive help here before the start of training camp.
But
Yeah, I think
who's left? That's the thing.
There is someone left, actually. I have brought this
Ben
name
Hutton.
up. Yes, I actually think Ben Hutton would be a good addition in Calgary. There is questions about his work ethic. I think that was fair game here in Vancouver. But I do think that he's a good 5-6. He's not going to be a top 4 guy, but I do think he's a good 5-6 guy that you can put in spot in different situations. I think Jake Gardiner is out of the salary is not an option because you still got to sign Matthew Tkachuk and Andrew Mangiapane. But there is a couple of options out there, I guess. But I mean, and there's also an option to make a trade, I guess. But
even then, I still think that there's too much question mark with the combination of the blue line and the goalies to really to really have the Flames as the favorite in the Pacific. I think that belongs to Vegas at this point, and then it's a bit of a between San Jose and Calgary. You've got to race to see who gets the second position, and then you've got a nice race in between 3 or 4 other three teams to see who can sneak in with the last position if they can stay ahead of the Central Division for the wild cards. So I do think the Flames are still a playoff team, but I just don't see them being the Pacific Division winners this year.
I'm not up on the Flames farm system, but if you're the Flames, you've got to be hoping for somebody to push for a spot and surprise at this point.
well, the big name is Shillington. Am I correct, Heidi? Is there anyone else that they're talking about out there?
Well, like Shillington's the one that they figure is like kind of gonna have to step up, whether he likes it or not. But then the other name that's being thrown around is Brandon Davidson, who I don't know a lot about. But he's going to be somebody that is going to have to try. I think he's like 27 or 28 or something. So he's going to be somebody who's going to show up at camp and have to push for a spot. And then I don't know how to pronounce his last name. It's Valiev or something like that.
Where's it?
The other guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't. A detriment to me. I did not follow the Heat as much last year as I should have, so I'm not 100% sure who's coming out of there now, but like it's definitely not the days when we still had like when Anderson was down there and Shillington and all that stuff, and it was really exciting about all these defensive guys. Right now they're up, and I don't know if there's anyone there anymore that seems like a sure thing. So training camp's going to be interesting in that sense too, and with Andrew McDonald coming in, like he'll maybe have to just push these guys a little bit harder to make sure that they're not slacking off in camp, and to make it look like they really actually want to play for the Flames this year and are ready for it.
A little bit of background on Davidson. Yes, 27 years old, 162 games of NHL experience, played 10 games last year with Chicago, signed July 1st by the Flames.
Okay, there you go.
The most he's played is 51 games in 2016 with the Edmonton Oilers. He's played 4 separate years with the Oilers, 2 with the Canadiens, and 1 with the Islanders. So yeah, he's kind of a Fentonberg-ish kind of guy, I guess. But it's not. I'm not sitting there with confidence with the Flames and saying, okay, I think we're going to be okay in that though too. So I still think that that's an addition that I do think that they need to address, and I would argue it's more of a priority. But and I think it is interesting in terms of what Treliving does, and just sort of like Treliving does a lot of big moves. Like if we compare Treliving to Benning, Treliving makes a lot of huge moves. Like he makes the splash. He does all the splashy stuff. But I do wonder in terms of like those minor crafty deals. I don't know if I see him as strong as other GMs. That's where I feel like he loses it a little bit there. The Paul Byron, like losing Paul Byron to waivers as an example. I know that sometimes that's not their control, but I don't know.
I think that one is like one of like the biggest like talked about things now, like in hindsight, is that move, and how with Byron working out so well in his new team that it really would have been nice if we still would have had him. But yeah, and you're right, like Treliving is not this like I've heard the word wizard used around him before, which okay, like maybe he's pulled off some good deals, but yeah, like he's definitely not been perfect, and and I think it's starting to show like more and more now as like kind of the seasons have went on.
Yeah.
Well, but all the Flames need to do is sign Dion Phaneuf again on their defensive.
No.
He is an option.
I do not believe in ever bringing players back. I don't know.
So what if that happened, Heidi? What are you jumping off the wagon, or?
No, but like I just don't see why.
I can't see them doing that.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't see how that is really that helpful.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of decent names out there on unsigned defensemen. As I said, Phaneuf, Mark Mathot, Nick Cronwall, Gardner. The Flames did buy up Michael Stone. a lot of older, slower guys still left.
Yeah, and it comes back to what we talked about a few minutes ago. I mean, the old and slow was, slow didn't work against Colorado.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah, that I think is interesting. Going to be interesting, and we'll dig into a little bit more. And now, and Heidi, you do remind me. I think I would love to at one point get someone from the Stockton Heat on the podcast sometime to talk about the Flames farm system as well. We do and continue to talk about Canuck farm system, but it would be interesting to do that as well. And so Evgeny Kuznetsov has been suspended 4 years by the IHF for positive cocaine for testing positive for cocaine. What would you want? What should the NHL do about this, and what should the Washington Capitals do about this?
I think that I don't think the NHL can do anything about it because of the CBA. Even though cocaine is an illegal drug, it's not banned within their CBA with the Players Association. So I think their hands are tied. But I do think the Washington Capitals and the Kuznetsov camp need to do something to show that to sort of mitigate the PR issues that are going to come from this.
There's got to be something like to do with off-ice player conduct or something that they could use as a justification to give them a slap on the wrist, even, you know? There's got to be something, a tool available where they can discipline them and send a message that way.
I don't think the NHL can. I think they've already released a statement saying that just because the cocaine's not a banned substance as per the CBA, there's nothing they can really do other than just like I said, it has to come down to being something willingness that the Kuznetsov camp's willing to do. So it's up to the Capitals and the Kuznetsov camp to come up with something that will help, like I said, help mitigate it. So, but as much as we'd like to see them come down and give them a suspension or a fine or something, I don't think there's any tools in the CBA that allow that.
Heidi,
Yeah, something needs to be done, but as you said, like there's no actual like quote unquote rules broken. I was just like thinking back, like as soon as this came up, I was thinking back to last year with Nate Schmidt from the Golden Knights who got 20 game suspension, and they figured like he completely like denied that there was anything. So like it might have been something that was like a super microscopic amount that was slipped into something he was taking. So, and he like instead like he lost 20 games for there to be nothing done in this situation. Like it just would be like, for lack of a better word, bullshit. But as you said, like for whatever reason, cocaine is not a banned substance.
Yeah, unfortunately, it just comes down to how the CBA is written and all that. Same thing with how you can trade for injured players to falsely create cap space, but you can't. They wrote into the CBA that they could. You have the backsliding contract cap recapture, right? So they're both those moves are trying to circumvent the salary cap, but one gets punished and one doesn't. Well, on this one, you have one player who, from all accounts, it does sound like it was an innocent, accidental ingestion of something in a supplement or something like that. And this one he was literally just doing illegal drugs, and he gets off scot-free, and the other guy doesn't. So yeah, it's just the way stupid little litigation and lawyer speak that we can't seem to understand. I would guess.
Yeah, it's one of those like above our pay grade sort of things. Yeah, it's. I am curious what the Capitals are going to do about it, because I mean, I'm with Tyler that there seems to be some sort of personal conduct that can be addressed. So, I mean, we don't, unfortunately in the NHL, there's not a lot of these incidents there, like in comparison to other leagues. So it's fortunate in that sense, but it will be interesting to see how what happens going forward here as well. If there's more, well, I guess we'll dig into that, but you know, it's a very rare case of something like this happening. So, so one of the things that Heidi has always challenging us on is to be a little bit more not boring. Not that we're boring. We're not boring, but Heidi wants to make sure that we're really, really not as boring. So Heidi has designed a couple of questions for us that we have no idea what she's going to ask us. And for the most part, I have no idea what she's going to ask us. And so we are going to answer Heidi's questions. And I think that they're more personal of nature. Would that be fair?
Yes, I would think so. Yeah. I might not get to all of them, so this might be something that maybe we get to other questions on like another episode, just because I think some of these questions could like lead to some discussion.
Sure.
But I will start with, just because this was the one that I did let you guys know, just because it might have required some thinking. So I wanted to know how much merch of any sort that you own, either in your house or your office counts. Same thing with like whatever, your cabin, your camp, or whatever. How much merch do you have from your faves from your NHL team? So I'm gonna do mine last.
All right, so I just bought a new hat and a new Trevor Linden jersey. Both are the noodle skate variety. I've got 3 jerseys, one fake BXA from back in my early 20s, white stick and rink, one of the old, the new old Canucks logo, blue, that's just blank, and then I got a Luongo stick and rink jersey as well, and then I've got I think 4 or 5 hats, and then a few trinkets here or there that have survived all my moves, but that's what I got.
I have a couple of the home jerseys, circa 2008 to last season, I guess, with the Vancouver across the top. I received as a gift back in 2008 a Luongo jersey, and I still have that one hanging up in my bachelor suite. And then subsequent to Luongo being traded, I got a Henrik Sedin. So I have that as well. That's it though. It's I kind of feel like I should have more stuff, but no, just those couple of items. And then I do have as well, which was handed to me to display in my living room, is it's a signed Trevor Linden hockey card from back in the day, and it's in a case with a Canuck puck, like a puck with the Canucks logo on it next to it. It's all in a nice little case. So it's kind of nice little piece for the living room there as well.
So, because I've moved on Greyhounds and stuff, I had to I had to donate some stuff. So I used to have a Flames jersey. I used to have a road jersey. I used to have the home jersey. But I don't. I used to also have a Hartford Whalers and Quebec Nordiques paraphernalia, because I like the old vintage stuff as well. But that somehow did not survive any moves. So right now I actually have very little. I have a Flames t-shirt somewhere, I think. And I used to have a Canucks t-shirt somewhere, just because, when I go to games and, it was just Canucks, I would wear a Canucks shirt to not get attacked, because I don't, but to fit in. But overall, I had a lot, but I don't have as much now. Once I don't move like all the time, I probably will start picking up some more stuff. But when you're moving on Greyhound, you want to like limit what you actually have. So
cool. So I will start you guys actually have more than I actually thought you were going to tell me. So that this is good, because people think that I might have overkill. So I made a list.
Oh, wow.
And I might still be forgetting things. So I'll start with the jerseys. I have 5 jerseys. You will only usually see me wearing one, and that is my Kachuk retro jersey. I also have a Dougie Hamilton retro jersey, and I have a Yager jersey which I got for Christmas. I guess that would have been last year. That I've never worn, but I got it. I have a Heritage Classic jersey, and I have just a regular jersey from I don't know when I got this jersey, whatever year the lockout was, because everything was super cheap that year, so I bought that.
The lockout that the season didn't go on, or the other the lockout after that?
The one where it was only half a season.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah. I was like, the fact that we have to specify which lockout season is just depressing.
I just always forget what year that was. So I got 5 jerseys. I have 2 hoodies. I have 3 hats, including one I just bought yesterday. My beloved Blasty hat, which I think is great. And apparently,
Flaming Stock Rocket.
Apparently, I've heard that they're already sold out.
Oh.
They started selling them on Monday. They tweeted it out on Thursday, I think, and I heard a rumor that they're sold out, or they're sold out on their online store or something. I walked all the way to the Saddle Dome yesterday on my lunch break to go get one. Okay, further down my list. I realized I forgot on my list. While I'm sitting here, it's literally above my computer screens. I have a Flames retro flag above my desk. I have too many pairs of socks with Flames logos that I don't know how many. There's lots. I have hand towels and face towels in my bathroom that have the Flames logo. I have a pillow. I have a blanket. I have 2 art prints that are Flames related. There is a Mark Geo dino, and it's a picture of a dino, and a Johnny Hockey, which is, a picture of a hawk with Johnny Gaudreau's jersey. They're super cool. They're based off a comic. I think it's like Hockeypocalypse or something. So those are cool. I got Calgary Flames box light thing that somebody found when I was working at the Cerebral Palsy Association. We collected things for donation that we would sell back to Valley Village, and somebody donated this, and the people that go through the donations found it and pulled it out and said that I needed it. But it's just this kind of box light, and has the logo. So I have it in my little area where I have my memorabilia. I have a Derek England signed puck. I have a Hallmark ornament. I have various little, the little dollar store banner flags that I think I might put out sometimes during when there's playoffs or something. I have a Calgary Flames Build-A-Bear outfit that is currently not on a Build-A-Bear, but is on my Alf doll. So my Alf doll looks hilarious, I think, with this Flames jersey and the helmet, and it's got the hockey pants and everything. And then I have a Calgary Flames mug at my office, and there's a good chance that there's actually more things. That's just what I could come up with.
I'm gonna go hashtag show off with this one.
Okay, hold on. I have to take this call. Hello? Yes, yeah, for sure. I'll let her know. That was the Flames Fan Addict. They're just thanking you for your continuing to allow them to actually be in business forever.
And the funny thing is I know a guy, he actually lives in Edmonton. His name is Chris. His entire downstairs basement is just all Flames stuff. He has a pure Flames cave.
Oh wow!
So he's gonna have way more stuff, and he collects jerseys and he does all that stuff. So mine's just a lot of little things, and people start buying me stuff now. People see just random Flames things and just buy them.
I'm just left feeling really inadequate.
Yeah, I feel
My question is, how much of that stuff's going to go with you to Jack from the Oilers YYC podcast place that you could hide? And,
I know.
In little spots to.
Yeah. In context for our listeners, I'm going to be looking after Jack from the Oilers YYC's their house. So if he's listening, maybe he'll be getting a warning. But Sean thought it would be funny for me to hide random Flames memorabilia around his house.
Yeah. Put a Matthew Kachuk something over there.
Something like that. So
a little Matthew Kachuk doll in the medicine cabinet.
Something like that. So as I said, I have like a whole lot more questions, but I think I'm going to save some of them for other things. But kind of as a follow-up to this question, is anybody planning on buying any new jerseys this year, or any kind of team-related things that might be on your radar to purchase?
A week after I bought my hat and T-shirt. Yes, I do want to buy the 50th anniversary skate jersey. That's the best jersey the Canucks have had. It just sucks that they've gone to a different color scheme, and they really need to keep with that color scheme to keep to keep the arena looking somewhat normal, not completely different colors all over the place. So, but yeah, I'm going to be trying. I've been getting a 50th anniversary skate jersey.
It's been a few years for me since I've decided to spend on merch. So I'm thinking of a home jersey. I just can't decide whether I'd want a Pedersen or a Horvat, but one of those two for sure. I think it's time to add to the collection now.
I don't know. It's going to depend on a lot of things, but yeah, like in terms of little trinkets, I'm not big on those, and I'm not. I'm in that controversial position where some people say I'm too old to have a jersey name on the back.
What? Whoa.
That is the stupidest thing I've heard.
I have a Russell Wilson and a Doug Baldwin jersey, sir, because I'm a Seahawks fan as well. So, but I don't necessarily fall into that. But I don't know. There's a part of me that would actually like to buy more of those vintage jerseys, like the old Whaler jerseys, the old Nordique jerseys, because I don't know. I think they're cool, but. Yeah, I'm going to be looking forward to seeing more 50th anniversary Canuck jerseys, and I'm also kind of glad that the Flames are going back to their retro red jerseys, because I do think that is their nicest jersey.
Is that absolutely confirmed though?
That was the plan when they announced that they were going retro in the playoffs. That the plan was that they were going to bring them back.
Yeah.
Within a couple of years.
I thought I heard something that they're going to be wearing that as their main home jersey this year. So
I think I heard that too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping so. That we're all, I don't know, some of us are just waiting to see that maybe if like Blasty makes like an appearance on like a shoulder patch or some kind of third jersey or something. So for me, like I'm always with the little tiny trinket things, I really try not to buy all that stuff. But if I see something, sometimes I just want it. I can't help myself. I think I do want another jersey this year just because I wear the hell out of my Kachuk jersey, and it'd be nice to have something to wear, something different. And so I think if I were to get a jersey, I think I'd probably get an Anderson jersey. Anderson's been somebody I've like actually been watching like come on since he's been playing with the Heat. So I think if I was going to get a jersey, I'd probably get his. And then I'm like a big like thrift store person. So if I ever see any kind of like cool vintage like flame shirt or something that looks cool or something, I might end up buying something like that. But I think so. Basically, no actual plans to buy anything, but I think if anything, probably like an Anderson jersey will probably be purchased by the next couple months.
Now, yeah. Well, I guess my one thing I was just about to joke. As a student, I'm just going to be hoping to afford ramen noodles, but that's a whole other subject. But is it acceptable to purchase a team that you're not a fan of jersey and wear that?
Yeah, that's acceptable if it's like a player that you like or whatever. Yeah, or you like as long as it's or you like the design. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I know lots of people that get stuff from other teams just because they like the look of it. I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah. Because just for me, like the two best jerseys in hockey and probably professional sports are the Montreal Canadiens. The original red and blue, and then the white ones. I don't know. I've always been a huge fan of their jerseys, so I wouldn't mind purchasing one of those.
Yeah.
I honestly I love the Canucks skate logo thing. So if I wouldn't be hearing about it from every single person, I would probably buy something with that on it and wear it. But I would hear about it from Flames fans and Canucks fans and all of it. So I just can't.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'd be one of the ones giving you a hard time.
I just really like that. I just really like that jersey. It just reminds me of the 8 years that I lived in BC. So
yeah. With jerseys, Jeff Merrick has been harping on this for a while. Is because there's so much white space on the ice, with the ice being white. Do you think that they should go away from having white jerseys?
No, that's I don't know. You're breaking tradition pretty significantly there, I think.
No,
it's for viewing on to bring more people in, because it's tough to. It's not good TV to have that much white space. So it's either go for the old was it which video game that had the blue ice, or you go get rid of as much white as possible on the jerseys. I think would look really good.
They would need some very clear parameters on how to match up colors with the other team, because you do get to a point where it's too similar. Like we see in international hockey with Sweden, they have the yellow uniform, and that is widely seen as enough of a contrast to reduce any confusion out there. I mean, from the referee's perspective, it gets difficult when the jersey colors are similar.
That's fair.
So or if you're playing, I mean, you pass to the wrong guy thinking it's a teammate, it's not. So. I get it's doable, but there would have to be some very clear parameters put in place that would make that work.
Maybe it's my eyes, but the Oilers and the Predators are examples of not having a lot of white, and I don't like that Oiler color when I watch it on TV. It's so the orange. I just don't like that, and I've not been a fan of the Predators. Mustard yellow. I'm just not.
I like that one, but I do agree with you on the Oilers. That orange is just hideous, and it almost makes that blue stripe look black or purple because it's so that orange is so bright.
Yeah.
They just need to go back to the 80s colors, just like the Flames. Go back to that the 80s blue. And stick with it. That's the best. That's their best jersey.
That's their best. I agree. And one of the problems with the white that I do see where Merrick is coming from, because if you watch Whitecap games, it's really hard to catch the number of the player to see who they are with their old retro jerseys. So I do see that, and it's Players Weekend this weekend, and I don't know if you I know Sean, you tweeted about how ugly the Blue Jays and Mariners jerseys were. I don't know if you saw the Chicago Cubs, but they look like icing. It's white on white, and I'm like, I can't. Who? I'm like, I don't even know who these people are. And you have these weird.
Keep straight down from Major League Baseball. Everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's Players Weekend, so they all have their nicknames on the back, which I like. I think that's great and hilarious, but. It's Blue Jays versus Mariners, and you don't have that great royal blue that the Jays wear down there on those jerseys. I'm sorry, that's a loss. That's a missed opportunity. That I didn't mind I don't mind those black Mariners ones. Those ones look sharp and cool, but the white without they didn't. All they had to do was add a couple make the numbers blue, or add a couple blue stripes. Going all white just doesn't look good.
And not only does it not look good, it actually created such a safety concern for batters that the Blue Jays pitchers, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the Blue Jays pitchers last night were the only Blue Jays players wearing black hats. So when they throw the ball, there's no possibility of the batter losing sight of it when it's around the pitcher's head.
Jeez.
Not well thought out.
No, this was just really poorly thought out, this whole idea.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, the jerseys. Fascinating.
What else you got for us,
next
Heidi?
question.
Do you want more questions, or do you want to save some? Because I think I have enough that we can maybe get to one or two. I think next.
Let's do one more.
You want to do another one? Okay, hold on. I'll pull up my list. I'll try to find one that's going to be a short thing. How many games do you think that you watched this past season? Or how many do you think you might have missed, if that's easier to think about, of your team?
Ooh. I think I watched probably close to 60 to 70 of the Canucks games.
Yeah, I'm feeling I've missed a good dozen for sure, maybe 15. Yeah, it's a very good question, Heidi. I can tell you for sure, one in person, the rest on TV. But it's hard to catch all 82 games, especially when you're playing hockey yourself, and in my case, refereeing and other things. And then there's the Eastern games where you just can't get home on time to watch them and stuff like that. So, I'm going to say probably in that 15-ish range is probably what I've missed.
I was able to catch 60 of both Canuck and Flames games. So I think around there. I think there was stuff that I obviously missed, but it was mostly 60 of both. Because I got I got online the Rogers deal with. Am I allowed to say Rogers? Yes, Rogers deal with Sportsnet West, so I was able to catch more Flames games that I've done before. So I probably would say 60 of each. It's easier if the Flames are playing East and the Canucks are playing West, and it's also easy because the Flames start at 6. So out here, so yay, BC time.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't remember missing too many games, and I think they were mostly the ones that those odd 11 o'clock a.m. Saturday games or Sunday games, the ones that they sometimes play out east. I might have missed a couple of those.
That's brunch time, Heidi. That's when we go to the Pig and Duke.
Yeah, I'm probably at the 70 to 75 games I probably watched this year, at least in part. Sometimes I don't see the whole game. Sometimes I'll just see the first 2 periods, or sometimes I've come home and I've had watched the last period. Even though me and my landlord, we both are big Flames fans, so we PVR all the games anyways. So I could always go back and watch the ones that I missed. But yeah, I think it was probably about that many.
I think the follow-up question is, how many did you quote-unquote watch because you were at a bar and ended up socializing with friends?
I don't know, how many games did we watch together this year? So I think that was easily...
Because I think there's a good dozen of those, too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you've got it on in the background and you just happen to see, the who scored? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
I was just curious to know, just to see where everybody kind of stands at that, and whether you think you need to watch more games, or maybe you think you need to watch less games.
More.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody really wants to say less, but
the one time I find it, the one place time I find it's Saturday night. Of course, it's so because I don't know, it's ingrained in us to watch hockey night. But I still have trouble with Sunday night. I don't know what it is, but it's like that's the toughest time for me to watch hockey. And I know that that they do the hometown hockey, but I just find it so hard to watch hockey on Sunday.
See, that's a night that I actually like watching hockey, to be honest. I'd rather watch it on Sunday night than like a Monday or a Tuesday night.
If the Canucks are playing, I'll make sure I watch hometown hockey, but it's not appointment viewing like Saturday is for me.
Saturday is a challenge for me because whether I'm playing or refereeing, it seems like one of the two always pops up on a Saturday. There may be during the hockey season, maybe 3 or 4 occasions where I actually have a Saturday night open to watch. So that's so that can be a challenge for sure. During the week is a lot more practical for me.
Yeah. So Sundays in the fall is NFL for me. So that, like.
Right, that other sport.
That other sport. Yes, that other sport. Yeah. All right. Is that it?
I think that's it. I think it's time to give some announcements, Kevin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We were going to talk about the Puppy Cup, but we got into some other things, and the Puppy Cup can wait. But the Puppy Cup is coming. So, from my perspective, we've been doing the hockey edition of this for just a little bit over a year. It was really after Trevor Linden stepped away from the Canucks July of last year, that when we started really doing this on a more consistent basis, I think, with Sean and Tyler, and then Heidi came in. But it's not really on brand with Agree or Disagree, the podcast. It's not what my intention with Agree or Disagree, the podcast is. It's, but it's been the easiest platform to use it for because there's been some things that I haven't had a chance to do. But we are going forward to separate, and we're in the midst of a debate about the title, but the title that I bought the rights to is the Hockey Podcast. There's someone here that doesn't like the name, Heidi. But we are going to be going forward with a separate website, separate podcast, and separate kind of stuff going forward that you will be. So we will be doing the Hockey Podcast, or whatever title whatever things that we are going to call it. Going forward will be a separate podcast from Agree or Disagree the podcast. It will still be on every Saturday. We're actually going to be doing a little bit more live stuff. So we will be using YouTube, Facebook Live, stuff like that, because we do want a little bit more interaction from the fans. So if they have questions or comments or things that they want from you guys that we hear from, we would like to do that a little bit more. We're in the midst of building that website. We hope to have it by October the 1st. But so that's kind of the plan there. Do you guys have anything that you would like to add to that?
I think on top, like when you're talking about the live thing, I know me and Sean have kind of like thrown around the idea that like me and Sean hang out on a regular basis anyways. So like maybe one of these nights when we're at the bar watching like Hockey Night in Canada or something like that, that maybe we can then do a little recording, or maybe we can figure out some way that we're actually hanging out together when we do our recording of this podcast, so that we can just kind of maybe like play off each other with some stuff. So that's an idea we had.
We can, if it was a Flames Canucks game, could we possibly see a food fight between the two of you?
Well,
Steven just started.
Yeah, there's plans to do that, and yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna be the well-behaved one there, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't bring up who was going to start the food fight. I just asked if there was going to be a food fight.
And then we are also working on a new theme song to bring to the podcast as well. My brother-in-law is he makes sort of electronic music, so we're working on a theme song.
Yay. Tyler, do you have anything to add?
I don't. I mean, you guys have spent quite a bit of time here in the summer chipping away at ideas. I've kind of been in the wilderness, just taking a bit of a break from hockey things. But I would agree. It's been quite the year here of regular podcasting and talking hockey, and it's been great to be part of this, and I think this is the time to kind of take some more steps and evolve this thing. And a theme song is a great thing to do, and then exploring some new ideas to engage with listeners.
Yeah, and also we will be working on some way, and we're not asking, it's not required, but we would love to have your support. If you feel financially that it's something you want to support, we're going to create an opportunity for you to do that. We don't have anything to give you, but so if you donate something, we would be gratefully appreciated. If you don't, we're not going to be angry at you. But we're working on kind of some things as well. So look for that as the season begins. We will hopefully October 1st, but around the beginning of the season, we're going to have a new website. And I'm excited because it's, I think we've done some good things here. And it's been fun for me too. And so I thank you guys. I'm crying.
I think we can make up some things for Patreon supporters. We could, I can give hugs.
That is awesome. A hashtag Heidi hug.
Yeah, you can get one of those. I don't know. Maybe we could make like an extra episode or something fun. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Well, yeah, we will.
For you guys, just so that you know that we deeply appreciate our love. And I just wanted to say too, if you disagree with me about the whole name the hockey podcast being boring, you can feel free to tweet me. Go ahead, at Heidi Mazeballs. If you have a better idea, if you think I'm crazy and it should just be called that, you can tweet me with your ideas, because I don't mind seeing them. I don't know if Kevin wants to be tweeted with them, but
I actually was going to ask you. I was actually going to put it up as a poll. Do you like the name the hockey podcast? I was actually going to do that.
Okay.
So I'll be curious. So anyway, we'll leave it there. We'll continue to discuss. I don't know if we are recording next weekend. For those who don't know, I am going to be studying the Radio Arts and Entertainment program at BCIT starting on next Tuesday, not the 27th, but the 2nd. So I am moving to Burnaby, closer to school. So I am moving next weekend. So I'm not sure if there will be time to record, but we can certainly, if there's something that happens, we can scratch out an effort in that way. But we definitely will be back in a couple of weeks. But how do we follow you guys? Heidi again?
You can follow me at Heidi Mazeballs. Twitter is the best way to reach me, but you can follow me on Instagram. I make appearances on Reddit at that same username. So yeah, and as I said, if feel free to tweet me with your ideas for the podcast.
Sean, Tyler, how do we follow you?
I am BeardyCanuck03 on Twitter.
And I'm on Twitter at TNoble, TNOBLE.
All right. Well, we thank you very much for coming on. Thank you all for listening. We hope you have the best dogs in the entire world. We will talk to you soon. Bye for now. We'll 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 talk to you soon.